Hello and welcome to another tech article. In what I'm hoping will be a relatively quick tip, I am creating this video based on a question within the Flowmattic Facebook group, and the premise of the flow that was being worked on was the user was transcribing podcasts and YouTube videos using New Oaks, and as part of an incoming webhook, there was data that they wanted to write to a text file to then pass on. To and to do that, they wanted to write individual text files for that data that was coming in the webhook. So that's what I've set to solve here and to show you how to do. What I haven't done is I haven't set up a dynamic webhook to capture data. I'm using hard-coded data because that isn't what the question was. They've got their data. They know how to get their data. What they need to be able to do is write a text file, and that's the bit I've worked on. So what I've got here is a very simple workflow. It is basically just an empty webhook, which I'm actually just going to trigger by going to the URL. We've got a PHP function here that calls write random text file, sends an individual variable of content with our content in it, and this is our content here. About 400 words randomly generated by ChatGPT. Everything else is as it is. When it generates its contents, it will write a text file and it will tend a response with the text file name and a random password, and this is based on the date text, the date, the time, and the random password function. And then for ease here, I've got it to send an email, and that email just sends an email with a direct link to that data, to that text file. And all I've done to create that is put the URL to the WP content, the text files directory that it will create in WP content, and the response that comes back with that text file link in it, and that gives us our link to view in our email. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to show you that in action. So I'm going to refresh this twice. And while it does that, I'm going to head over to WP Codebox. We should get a couple of emails appear in this tab in a second. And this is the function we just called. And all this is doing, as I said, is checking if a directory exists, creating a directory, writing a text, date and time, and a WP generate password of 8 letters.txt file. And it just writes it to that folder. And that's all it does. I have created and tested on much shorter than 24 hours, also a function that deletes text files that are older than 24 hours. In testing, I haven't tested it for the full 24 hours, but in testing, I've tested it for about an hour, and it appears to work fine. But I've included this in the gist. So over in the gist, there is this, and I will include a link to this gist with this video. And that's basically how it works. So if we head over to our emails, you see I've got two emails here, one after the other. You can tell by the time, and they created two separate files that follow our file naming. So text, date, time, random, text, date, time, random. If I click on one of these, you'll see it's written our content to our text file. So this is how I would approach that. And as I say, I've added the automatic delete because I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, if you're transcribing 5 or 6 videos, it's not too bad. You can manually go in and delete them when you're done. But if you were doing this on a constant basis, let's say a regular YouTube channel that releases 3 or 4 times a day, if it's a news-based channel or something, you could end up with thousands of text files by the time you are done, and you're not really going to have any other use for them once they've been used however you wanted them. So that's why I've set them to automatically delete. Don't necessarily, if you didn't want that, you just wouldn't include this function down and these two actions, and that just removes your files. So this is what actually writes the files. Hopefully that's been useful. If you like this video, if you like videos on automation, Flowmattic, WordPress, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.